I'm Kara Pepper-Day. I'm the Director of Customer Success, and we're really excited to have Greg on our team. He's a newer addition, and he brings a lot of ideas and a lot of experience and a different perspective, and he's helping us to kind of shake things up a little bit. Okay. So you want to give a little background?
Yeah, hi everyone, nice to meet you. So Greg Cittadini. So my background's primarily in healthcare technology, and as I meet people in the business here, they're all saying, well, yeah, we're a kind of a version of healthcare. So, so I'm comfortable, but I'm 3 months in, I'm learning a ton, it's been great. And so yeah, it's great to be here today. Okay,
well, let's jump in. Our whole organization, but especially our 2 departments, we are here because of you, right? Our company culture is that we are a customer-centric organization, and it's our 2 departments are what really drive that, and we keep that top of mind at all times. And we're a SaaS model, so we have to, right? We're always kind of asking, how can we continue to add value to you, because you could move away from us. We obviously don't want you to, but just so that you know, that's what we think about. We think that we have to be continually adding value to your organization because we have to, right? And long-term customers know this about us. We have really great friendships and relationships, and you guys know we have your back, so you're important to us. And so we often ask, are you continuing to gain value from Grapevines? We ask that specific question a lot of the time. Grapevines is a tool that is not meant to be static. It's meant to grow with your organization. It's meant to evolve and change. We all know that it's not fun to go out and buy and implement new software solutions, and we don't want you to do that, right? Don't think, I'm not getting this out of this tool, I need something else. Come to us and say, I'm not getting this out of the tool, I want this. And chances are we'll say, oh, we could probably do that, or let's reframe it a different way. And so it's really meant to be a tool that grows with you. And that's not just us, right? It's also the power of the platform. That's what some of the Salesforce.com mantra is, right? They do 3 releases a year, constantly getting better, very innovative company. And so we're here for you. And historically, we are very good at doing that phase 1 implementation. We get you up and running, and then you're kind of on your own. And so that's some of bringing Greg in, right? We are improving that process after the fact, that phase 2, that phase 3, that lifetime of success. Yep, the transition, exactly. And how do we support that continued value gain? There's a handful of things that we do. Kind of some systems in place and things of that sort. One of them being our formal business reviews with executives, key managers, with the sponsor of the your internal sponsor of the software solution, and really taking a time to take a step back, take that bigger view, and say, okay, from the management standpoint, are you getting all the outputs that you want and you need? From that in the field standpoint, are they getting all the outputs and all of the support that they need? And if not, let's reevaluate. Let's readjust. What are new features that have come out, or new pieces of the system that maybe you can use it in a different way? And that's one of the important pieces of a business review. It's also a time where we can establish a predictable cadence of communication. Again, knowing that we have your back, we're here for you. We have a Zendesk portal. So anyone that's been a customer for any amount of time knows that you can file tickets with us. There's some frequent flyers sitting around the room, and you can always send an email to do that. But many people don't take advantage that there is a portal where you can go. It's the support.grapevines.com, and it's a much better interface to be able to manage your tickets closed and open, go back and search things. Within that portal, there's also knowledge base articles, and Tracy, who I think is lingering in the back, they're in the very, very back. We have a formal plan, and Tracy's really kind of leading that. And so keep your ears open about more information, more not just geared for admins, but also end users, and really us doing a better job of providing more information for you guys. We actually a tool that Greg introduced, we love it, is called a client tracker, and it's basically a shared spreadsheet that is at one point where you can go and kind of check on all the pieces that you're working on. It's a great tool for customers that have multiple admins or power users. If you have multiple projects going on, it's a great tool to utilize.
Yeah, and the idea around that is to start that in the project phase. So get very comfortable with tracking projects, project plans, hours that we're consuming during the project. But that is part of what we hand over to Kara's team as well. So there's that transition of knowledge too. So
Exactly. Our pro tip emails and admin alerts, they're two separate things. The pro tips are more geared towards end users. They're coming out about once a month. The email admin alerts are more geared around releases or more technical information. If you're not getting either of these, most of the people in the room we should be getting at least one of these, if not both. Open a ticket, let us know. We'll make sure that you get signed up on those lists. It's important communication. I also would like to point out, it's good to read them because you won't learn about the new features and new releases if you don't actually read them. So, okay, some interesting information we pulled together. Okay, what are customers utilizing? And this is not super scientific. It's not every single feature. We don't track every single feature module that we have, but it's kind of the core pieces. And so it's kind of hard to read, but the top few are volume reporting, account calls, CRM and email marketing, which is really around capturing contacts and communicating with them. We heard that a little bit a couple times today. It's an important thing to do. The mobile app, which obviously you do a lot of these things in the mobile app. Sales goals, objectives, survey, mobile content. So hopefully you're shaking your head saying, oh yeah, we use a few of these things. But what can we learn from looking at this, right? Sales goals. 75% of you are using volume reporting. But only 47% are setting goals, right? So what gets measured gets improved. If it's important for you to track those volume numbers, set a goal, at least some sort of a target, right? National accounts. Only 12% of customers are utilizing this module. And Ben, can attest that this is a good thing to track on. If you're putting the effort in upfront for national accounts or chains, which is a lot of effort, a lot of organization, a lot of time and energy, it's worth, right? It's worth on that back end doing some of that follow through. Mobile content. 55% of customers are utilizing our mobile app. In this specific stat, that's referring to a tablet app, iPad app mostly, but only 18% are utilizing mobile content. So mobile content is digital media, it's POS, you can store on your tablet, on your iPad, you can access it offline. Some folks have a lot of content, it's not quite powerful enough. But if you have some key pieces of digital content that you want your team to use, stick them in there. They can easily email them out and communicate that out and use it while they're in the field. It's a great little feature. Product sets. We have a couple. This is a kind of a concept that's used in a couple different ways throughout the system. We have account sets, this one, product sets, and it's a group, right? Or a brand group or a brand or a group of products that you link together. And a couple use cases is if you have specific target accounts for a specific set of groups. It's also great if you have products that are line priced. It's a nice little add-on piece. Okay, pricing and trade promotion management. They're basically not being used by most people. A little caveat, there is extra licensing costs for pricing, but much less than some of the other pricing tools out there. Many people think that their organization is too small for pricing or TPM, but really you're never too small to do a better job of how you're spending your money or how you're getting paid. So it's a great value add right there. I'm passing over to Greg here.
Cool. Do you want to take questions? Or?
No, we can wait till the end.
Okay, great.
You know?
All right, so I just want to cover phases of success, okay? So a lot of that really starts in implementation. We'll talk about the tricky business of change management and building a change strategy. So it all kind of starts here. So I've been implementing now for an ungodly amount of years and working with clients, and I've seen so many failures in implementation. And I'm sure a lot of folks in this room have experienced a lot of issues. And here's just some of the things that I had sort of picked up and put down for us today. But some of the big themes here are when we're missing executive sponsorship, okay, and leadership sponsorship, those are critical. Poor resourcing on projects, okay, not having the right people working on projects. Training and support. And then another one is buy-in from your teams, okay? And so all of this to me really feeds up into a change management strategy. So what you see here are the project phases that this is kind of the revamped implementation model that we've been working on for the last couple months here at Grapevines, trying to figure out how to create the best experience for our clients, okay? One of the things that we've decided is that really it starts with a solutions conversation. And so Tim is going to be a big part of that with all of our clients going forward and any of our existing clients that have fairly large projects. We really want to make sure that we're identifying what makes the project successful, what are your key business drivers, what are the use cases that we have to vet out and understand. And most importantly, in my mind, is the end user experience, right? It gets back to that adoption again. So then from that, we can really hand off into our technical team and work on requirements and start that gathering process. Couple critical roles that we're going to continue to emphasize in implementation. The first one is your super users, okay? These are your all-star players. Critical. In every implementation I've ever worked with any company, when there is not a super user presence, the problems are unbelievable, right? You need to really have that role. And these are the people that stand out from the rest of your organization, okay? They are your superstars. They're technically inquisitive. They're not challenged by technology. They have a lot of respect in the organization. They communicate very effectively. And they have grit, and I put that in there for a reason because these folks typically have a day job as well, so you're asking a lot from them. They're very busy during the implementation, and they also end up having a role after the implementation as well, really being that subject matter expert in the organization. Administrators. We've probably talked to a lot of you about the importance of administrators. They're more your back-end person. Now, depending on the size of your company, your super user and your administrator could be the same person, but ideally it's very different folks, okay? So they're handling a lot of the configuration, uploading data, building surveys. They work really closely with Kara's team to submit Zendesk tickets. So another really critical role. All right, change management. I see this missed all the time. I see that people really don't know what it is coming into implementation. So it's critical that we educate our clients on this before we really get a project underway. So what you see here is what is traditionally known as the ADKAR model. So that's a change management methodology. It's used in a lot of big companies. When I was at Nike, that was a big part of the way they brought SAP in. And as you can see, change really happens in stages. It's not something that's going to take place overnight. And you really have to have a strategy and process around that. So it starts with launching. As soon as you realize that you're going to make the change, getting it out there and socializing it. Make sure that people understand what you're doing. Buy-in is critical. I think Jay mentioned it earlier this morning. What's in it for me? Making sure that people can really connect to the change that you're putting into play. Understanding, and this is getting in the right training program. And I think in both panels this morning, there was a lot of conversation about training and not getting a strategy in place and how that affects the process and how you use your super user during that as well. And then ongoing comprehension. So you have a lot of different learning styles. So being able to identify skill gaps, train, your end users, and that ongoing training process as well. And then retraining new hires and sort of just getting that consistency. So planning for transformation is really where it all starts. So your leadership team and your project team have to be aligned on these things, right? So how big is the change? Who's affected? How is it changing jobs? These are the things that everyone needs to be aligned against before you're really ready to move into that project. Clear messaging, communication is everything. How you say it, when you say it, who says it, how information cascades in your organization. Because if there's breaks in that, all the negative narratives start, right? All your detractors, people get nervous, and then you get a lot of FUD out there, and that is a real distraction to implementation. So how do you use ongoing communication streams? And this is where your super user plays a really big part in the implementation. They're the ones that are dropping by team meetings and giving updates on the project. Okay, they're talking to senior leaders. Transparency is key. Celebrate your wins. But talk about the setbacks, right? Projects are hard. It's hard implementing software. It's hard getting people aboard. And then establishing open door support hours. So one of the things I've used in the past is post-implementation, booking time in conference rooms for super users to be there to take conference calls from people on the road if they have questions or for people to stop by. Resistance, it's massive, right? I think everyone has experienced this. And it comes from a lot of human behavior and the way in which we react to change, okay? The big one that I see all the time when you really start plugging away at it is someone's worried they're gonna lose their job, right? And that's a very big feeling, right? So how do you get in front of that? Making sure, again, that everyone understands why the change is being made. And then dealing with sometimes the organization's past with change and implementation and some of the things that have happened. So really important. And you have to have the commitment from your managers, and I can't stress that enough. If they're not bought in, it is toxic to everything that you're trying to do. So really, really important. And then recruit the right resistance managers, okay? So your senior leaders are gonna really be delivering the strategic message, but your supervisors and your managers can really talk about things at that operational level, right? Again, what's in it for me? Other techniques, making sure that your managers are coached and they know what they're doing and they have time designated to make sure their teams are adopting. And then training materials, right? Taking the right amount of time to build training materials, FAQs, quick tips, whatever it might be, but you have to continue to be pushing that information out and making sure that that repository is available for folks to have, so. Lastly, this is kind of pretty easy strategy to build, okay? So to the left, you can see those are all the phases that I introduced earlier. To the right of that is the objective for each phase. Who owns the phase? Who's really gonna lead that? And then really, what are the strategies and tools that you're gonna use? So for new clients, we really wanna work with them on these strategies before we go forward. That's all I have. Any questions? Yeah.
I was going to say, not just new clients, but anybody, when it's time to set goals for next year,
Yep.
and you want to have a process around that. These steps are important. Right?
Absolutely.
So it's not something that's only done when we kick off. It's ongoing as needed, right, to keep the solution moving forward.
Yep. Also, mergers and acquisitions is a big one too. And so we can come back in and chat with your team when there are changes to, as Tim mentioned, to kind of work out some of those strategies and help guide you. Cool. Thanks.